to introduce Chris Havrilla, Vice President, Product Strategy, Talent at Oracle. Chris is a seasoned, highly respected, and proven HCM leader with a unique blend of technical, HE practitioner, business, and vendor experience. She is one of HR Executive's top 100 HR tech influencers, People Hum's top 30 women in HR tech, and Analytical's top 25 global consultancies influencers report. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Chris.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are in the world right now. Welcome to the session, Making People and Skills, Tech, and Data Work for everyone in your organization. I actually love the notion of a borderless HR tech preview, though I do think of it more of technology or tools or data and insights to keep the world of work, workforce, workplace in harmony. So I love talking about this because I want as many options as possible. I don't want borders. I don't want boxes around my ability to support my stakeholders and my team, my colleagues, my organization, my customer, my partners, suppliers. Who doesn't want options, right? And so, we live in a world where things are changing constantly. We don't have time to keep transforming, and we live in a world where things are constantly changing. And I do think that it's important to kind of keep that frame as we talk a little bit further. I am going to put up a safe harbor statement because I'm going to be talking about some futures in our products. And I really want to start out level setting kind of philosophically. I do think, it's important to think about what borderless HR technology means to you. I've told you a little bit about what it means to me. I don't want boxes. I do want options, and I don't want to be, limited in any way to anything but global and without borders. We don't have time to keep changing all the time and stopping and starting. We've kind of absorb change and learn how to shift and change with it. We can't keep reinventing ourselves all the time. And I do think it's important to keep all of our stakeholders in mind. And that is our customers, our employees, our partners, our suppliers. And I do think that's really important with this notion of how do we support people with the technology that we have, and we do it in the right ways, no matter where they are. I put on here a lot of buzzwords: agility, resiliency, well-being, belonging. We've heard so many buzzwords lately about retention, about resignations, but I do think it's important to understand what's behind all of this. And it really is about all of us, right? It's about me. It's about you. It's about our experience and what forms that in the world of work, workforce, and workplace. And I do think we have to kind of level set on how humans and technology collaborate together. I do firmly believe that machines have entered our workforce because they do more than just substitute work or the way things have been in the past. They actually were the work. I used to laugh at the notion of us working for robots because I feel like we've been working for the machine for a very long time, entering data, and not really getting anything out of it. So I think we're in a time right now where technology can be even beyond an augmenter, but really a collaborator. So, and those machines have skills and capabilities just like humans, right? So just like we come together as a team with humans, I think we have to come together with technology as well. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of a level set of what we'll be talking about today. I also want to introduce myself because I want us to have an open dialogue. And I know this is on record. I was able to record this session in advance so I can be with you during the live chat. So I encourage all of you to share your thoughts, your questions, engage with me, with each other, because this is a super critical topic. My name is Chris Havrilla. I am VP of Product Strategy at Oracle. I've had a really interesting background. I've been in HR, I've been in IT. I've done global transformations from internally and externally. I've run global HR strategy and planning, HR technology and people analytics, and I've worked in corporations and I've worked in vendors. So there's not much I haven't done. My last role was as a researcher. I was a tech industry analyst, so I got to study the world of technology and all the vendors. I did this at Deloitte, but I also got to study the consumers of technology and how they were consuming it, what they were buying and why they were buying it, and what outcomes they were getting or not. And it was super fascinating. And I came here recently to really kind of now taken everything that I've learned and experienced and put it towards building products that can do exactly what we're talking about today. And I give you that context because I want you to engage in the chat after the sessions, because I think this is an important conversation. I'm gonna start by talking about the challenges I'm hearing, because no matter what role I was in, and certainly as a researcher, but now in the role that I'm in now at Product Strategy, which is about half internally facing and how we invest, the strategies that we invest in, where we go with our product direction, and everything internal that goes along with that. The other half of my job is to do advocacy and advisory. And when I say being a customer advocate, it's being that voice of the customer, which means I'm listening to everything that's going on, what they're challenged with. And these are the things that I'm hearing the most. The advisory part is really, how do we apply technology to start to solve for these things? Dream job that I get to talk to you about today. I really want to spend a few minutes on this, because I'm seeing these things globally. And these are the business challenges that, as people are heading into 2023, that they're dealing with, but a lot of them have been around for a really long time. But to truly unlock the potential and performance of an organization, you've got to do the same for your workforce. And as such, adopting a people-first culture and workplace is foundational for a more profitable and a resilient future. It's with the notion of future outcomes that, or even always evolving environments, we have to get beyond the need, again, to transform and constantly react, right? We kind of got to stay ahead of it or absorb things as we go. And I really do think, when I think about borderless HR tech, in my mind, it really should be people first and focused also, reflecting continued innovation necessary to prepare for and absorb all of this, harness the constant change, not just with the technology itself, but all the disruptions that we experience and all the accelerated evolution, and to do that quickly, intelligently, and really with scalability. Big thing everybody's talking about: recruiting. Just last week, in a Fortune magazine article I was reading, it was talking about some research they had done, and executives fear hiring and recruiting challenges will continue for the next decade, even going into recessions and things like that, and rated recruiting and hiring as the number one risk to business in 2023. And that was like amongst almost 40 considerations: risks of finding the right challenges, bridging the skills gap, recruiting and hiring quickly enough, more, better, faster, right? Which is why this really isn't about talent acquisition anymore, right? We've got people shortages, skills shortages, talent shortages. It's about accessing talent, skills and capabilities, internally and externally, to achieve work outcomes in an organization, short-term and long-term needs, which means understanding and managing a growing contingent workforce too, and how they're affecting your customers' success, culture, adherence to policies and procedures. And I'll just say et cetera to that as well, which is why this is no longer about talent acquisition anymore. I think experience is also supremely important to talk about, from well-being to wellness, to trust in relationships with your coworkers, with your managers, with your organizations and peers, all the way to, how do you experience the organization? How do you meet as an organization the needs of all of these individuals, right? What they want, that hyper personalization, but at scale. Well-being, work-life balance, where, when, how they want to work, feeling supported and seen and heard and known and understood. These are huge top challenges for today. Building great leaders is another one, with this rise of the individual, right? How do we unlock their performance and potential when experience is so important as well? How do we kind of flip the management model, so to speak, and move away from command and control, and I'm telling you what to do and how to do it, and move to more of a commitment and collaboration, where we're actually telling people what the outcomes are they need to achieve, what and why, maybe when, but leaving the how to them, because they're the ones closest to the work. This notion of process maps and here's the linear work just isn't the way things happen anymore with all of the change that's happening. So we have to empower our workers to take action, make decisions, and having the intelligence to do so and the support to do so. It's almost like, as managers, we work for them, right, to unlock their performance and potential. So that's a huge challenge today, especially, and I saw this recent data from Deloitte. Actually got to be a part of that research, where it really talked about, in their, I think it was a 2021 human capital trends, that 80% of the respondents in these executive focus groups said that the biggest internal barrier to success of all of this was leadership. So how do we support this? What does a command and control shift to commitment and collaboration look like? What it looks like is a high accountability model. We hold people accountable to outcomes, but it's also a high empathy model, right? How do we support that performance and potential? How do we access and align talent? More specifically, getting to the topic at hand that we're really going to focus the most on, what are the skills and capabilities of our workers, and what's needed to do the work? And how do we become a skills-driven organization, understanding and developing skills, helping people discover their capabilities and what could come next, positively impacting an individual and an organization? And so I'll kind of wrap this slide up with, the skills themselves. How do we keep up with the pace of digital transformation? And it's a significant challenge, right, that's facing HR, because integrating the latest technologies not only bring powerful business opportunities, but also creates challenges and skill gaps for the current workforce. So for an organization to actually stay competitive, it has to have a workforce with the right skills to be productive and innovative, to make those decisions and take actions without being told what to do and how to do it, right? And ultimately, when we are unlocking their performance and potential, we're doing that for the organization. So upskilling and reskilling, we hear about all of these things to ensure your workforce has the right skills needed to help the organization thrive and grow, but it also has to help individuals do that same thing and carve out their own path to success. I mean, who isn't going to be a high performer when you're doing things that fulfill your need to contribute, to make an impact? How do we kind of enable an organization by putting all this talent intelligence to work for the organizations, but also for the people to find that kind of match, right? How do we help leverage all of these insights and help guide workers, HR, and managers and leaders, all to be solving for this, right? All to, find the right development and new opportunities and plan the workforce for tomorrow, and match what we have to do as organizations, which is to access talent, skills, and capabilities to get the work of the organization done. And also the needs of our employees who are just trying to access experiences and become valuable and make an impact and contribute. That's the very heart of belonging. It's not just bringing your whole self to work. It's how do I collaborate and contribute? And the thing that we can do is make this easier for people so that they can do the work that they're meant to do. So I want to I'm actually going to go up a little bit and then maybe go back to that last drive, because I want to set the stage for skills-driven talent management, and what that really means from an individual perspective. And it does mean that individuals can kind of develop and discover relevant skills for their growth, find learning related to their skills, but also opportunities, side desk projects, gigs that they can do, and find jobs where they can apply their skills and connect with others who can help them grow as well. And as an organization, maintain a set of relevant skills and push development opportunities to where we may need them the most. And how do we do that alignment? So I'll go back one slide and talk specifically about what we're doing and how we are at Oracle thinking about skills as this new currency, right? As the foundational building blocks for organizations to think about the work that needs to get done. We've traditionally always talked about, right, roles and jobs. Even as workers, we self-identified in a role. But in this new work model, right, we've got to really think down to the skills and capabilities level. And it's why it's such a hot topic of conversation right now. So let's talk about skills management. We have a product called Oracle Dynamic Skills, which harnesses the power of artificial intelligence, right, to support a continuously updated view into the ever-evolving skills of across the market, within your organization, and to effectively connect people to opportunities and to plan and execute not just against your future or your current needs, but your future needs as well. The solution spans skills-driven processes across the entire employee lifecycle, where skills are leveraged even before someone is hired. We can bring those skills in and to impact their experience and align the best candidates to the right roles, and through onboarding experiences and learning recommendations and ongoing opportunities for career development and growth. In the past 12 months, Oracle has delivered additional growth recommendations also for open jobs, careers, gigs even, so we can start to see what the work is of the organization that isn't always handled with jobs and roles. I don't know about you, but I don't always get all the headcount that I want and need, but I still have work that needs to be done. And we can put those things out in things like an opportunity marketplace. And we now have skills centers for employees to actually manage their skills as well, to constantly be inspired to update or seek out things, give them guidance and recommendations to do so. There's a new team skills center for managers to actually centrally monitor the skills they have in their organization, where there may be gaps, where there may be overages, assign core skills for their teams, and skills advisor capabilities for job requisitions and job profiles, providing AI skills recommendations for even the recruiters, hiring managers, and administrators. Planned for 2023, we'll continue to add to the skills advisory for the learning catalog. We're going to talk about this unified career experience in a minute, but there's a lot around skills validation, credibility, relevancy, and additional features for skills groupings and skills inventory curation, which supports the ability to add, block, modify skills. Dynamic skills management is a significant area beyond automation within our cloud suite, and will continue to be for many releases. This is the building blocks for the way talent will be done now and in the future. For organizations that are taking a skills-first approach to talent management, our dynamic skills capabilities kind of make it easy for them to build and manage skills data for employees. And the AI recommends relevant skills, again, for jobs and opportunities, and for job seekers. How do they put their best foot forward, not only in the recruiting process, but when thinking about worker progression or agility in their careers. I probably should mention career mobility. I didn't put it on this slide, but it's certainly a huge part of how to help motivate people to stay and grow within the organization, because we're giving them insights and value as to why they would want to do it, right? Who doesn't want that kind of help? And we've got the intelligence that we're getting from all parts of the suite to help them, not just about themselves, but what we're learning about other people, right? And we'll see more and more features coming out around mentors and ambassadors, and how to connect to those and those gigs and opportunities. But I also think it's super important to see where we're going, and that is this notion of a unified career experience. I'm not even sure that's the right name for it, right? But some kind of unified experience to not only achieve mastery in your current role, but how do you grow in desired career pathways? How do you find safe ways to discover, other paths, right? We're not on a career ladder anymore. It's more of a lattice. So what are the opportunities? What have I not even thought about? And so how do we leverage all of the parts of our suite, from learning to dynamic skills to career development to the journeys and the workflows that people do, to the opportunity marketplace where they can see projects, to recruiting, to the tools that we're using to support the not just performance, right, but how people manage and do weekly check-ins with their people in that new kind of collaboration and commitment mindset. So how does all of this come together, right, to a new hyper-personalized, at scale too, dynamic experience that spans learning and growth and discovery of new opportunities? What are my capabilities and where could they be applied? So that will be coming in a way that will bring even more insights and value to workers. And I think this is where we should expect HR technology to go, to create this notion of a world without borders and a harmonized workforce, and workplace. Skills-driven talent management, we talked about that, what the different things that individuals and organizations can do. So I want to talk a little bit more specifically about how Oracle Dynamic Skills works. Because as you're looking for technology in your own organizations, I think these are important things to understand, because I know where a lot of companies have failed is, their expectation is on the worker to create their profiles and keep them updated, and not in how we can leverage all that we have, right? All the information that we have on a person to start the process for them, to inspire them to take part in it, but also help them keep it up to date themselves in the flow of their work, not where they're having to spend separate time, but maybe when there are specific ways to inspire them to do it. Oracle Dynamic Skills sources, detects, and refreshes organizational skills. So it's constantly doing that. We have a deep learning AI engine that does that detection and captures and refreshes a tailored skills inventory for your business, specific to your business. And that's super important, right? How do we help make this easy on everybody, not just the worker, but also the managers and the people organizations? It's important to look for technology that can advise and uncover skills maybe that weren't even thought about, right? Because we can see the patterns and trends. And this, again, is the power of a unified, natively built platform, but also a single data model, leveraging all the different parts of our HCM suite. It can advise and uncover skills. And these are personalized skills recommendations that will help workers enhance their brand and grow their career, discover new opportunities, giving them options. Again, I'm like I'm like everybody else. We all want options, but we always don't know what those are. So how can the technology give us some of the data and insights? And maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but we can validate that, right? And we can do that in a number of ways. We can utilize what your colleagues say, what your manager says, what you say yourself. Maybe what it's curating you want to add to or change, or say you haven't thought about this. And it gives people those opportunities and when and where they need it. When they're talking with their manager at their check-in, when they're during their performance review, when they're, perhaps looking to do some learning or exploring other opportunities, or maybe want some project work, sided desk project work to do that kind of discovery of new opportunities and things that they hadn't thought about, and giving them even a safe place to discover that, when we'll talk about that with the new kind of career experience. But it's kind of rooted in this dynamic skills, which is really about unleashing your talent potential, right? And doing it in an engaging way that is bringing insights and value to people, not being the work, right? And it encourages and empowers people to manage their skills and their own development and their own course, right? And you're giving that to your people when you're giving them products and technology that work for them like this. And it also is great to manage and to monitor skills as well. Our approach is one that combines our global model with your existing data, such as job requisitions, talent profiles, competencies, skills libraries. And it really is about bringing a result that is a customer-specific skills inventory that lines to your business and its unique DNA. Because organizations really are just like people. They're all unique in their own ways. And it does provide relevant and useful, body of skills from day one, right? So you're not starting from scratch and you're not waiting for months for that to build, but it does get continually smarter all along the way. The benefits for specifically using Oracle AI within your HCM suite is that fast activation, that self-service activation of AI features to get you up and running quickly, and not taking all that time. And that is tailored for you. That's a huge benefit and differentiator for Oracle. How do we take Oracle machine learning pipelines and model these things? And it is a single data model. This is not disparate data sources and data models. This is one data model coming at you with recommendations on day one, and the continuous learning that goes along with it. Our AI apps leverage data, to across the HCM and ongoing user feedback and automatically improving AI over time. So, with that, I want to take a conclusion. There's more information in here around our skills journey. I do want you to have a little bit more information about the future and our unified career experience and how it's leveraging all of these different modules and different apps within the Oracle HCM suite to help give business leaders an insight-driven console around this, but also, to hyper-personalize those career pathways and that career lattice for workers, and encouraging skill building and discovery for people to understand how their unique skills and capabilities could be applied in the organization. I think this is the future, and it's going to be easier here in a unified, natively built HCM platform with that single data model. With that, I'm going to conclude. I want to say thank you for your time. Let's continue this dialogue. I'll be in the chat, so keep it coming. And all of my contact information is here. Thank you so much for your time.